All right, perfect. Welcome on board. Hello, guys. This is Jader Salazar, the founder of I don't know, Black Label Closers. Thank you for coming, joining our live event tonight. We have some hot topics, and I'm going to get right into it because we don't have enough time to goof around. So, first of all, guys, don't forget you can join our school community. That's skool.com and become part of our community. You can also access the free course there. Ton of information, guys. It's not fake. It's a real first step, if you will, into becoming a effective, high performance closer. You also have the opportunity, if you want to become a little more demanding or a little more aggressive or a lot more aggressive, there's a $97 course there valued at $1,000, and you guys can access that for $97. I understand the world is going through tough times, so we're going to give you the right value for you guys to start finding out how this game is played. And if you really want to play the game, you can become my partner by signing up to the partnership program, which is going to split a 50% profit for you. Come and talk to me about that. Visit our website at blacklabel-closers.com. All right. So that's www.blacklabel-closers.com. Okay. There you go. All right. So let's dive into this. The first subject we're going to be talking about is, so the title of the live tonight is called The Persuasive Consultative Approach versus the Selling Approach. Okay. If you've seen any of these videos before, you would know that I never sell any high-ticket products. I'm not a salesman of high-ticket products. I'm a closer. There's a vast difference between a difference between the two, right? When you are a salesman, you're chasing sales. When you are a closer, you're creating opportunities that become opportunities organically, and you take the prospect, the person you're talking to a place where you flip the script, you turn the prospect into the person who's going to pitch in you to why you should take their money. And this is done very, very meticulously and with a precision that comes almost surgical. Well, surgical, right? So the first, we have 4 topics. The first topic is how to diffuse the prospect from taking control when he or she demands on having you skip your process so that you can explain technical information. The second topic tonight is how to set yourself apart from a sales pitch to become the expert. The third point today is how to get a short answer prospect, someone who answers very short answers, to get more involved in the conversation. Last but not least, how to set the deal to close at the end of the call. Okay? All right, so let's dive into the first one. How to diffuse a prospect. So a lot of prospects, a good percentage of prospects you give them a call because the way you create the customer or the prospect in this industry is you have a series of funnels that the prospect has to go through to become a lead, right? LEAD, lead, right? So you're going to deal with leads. You're going to call leads, and those will be your accounts or you're going to turn into sales or attempt to turn into sales. Hopefully, you turn a lot of those into sales. It's impossible to close 100%. So let's get to the deal here quickly. So the way you do this, there's going to be a little bit of confronting here. So be strong from the first second that you talk to them. Don't be loud and don't be over the top. Just strong. Strength has nothing to do with how loud you sound. It has to do with how effective you sound, how you pace yourself, and how you manage your speeds, right? Sometimes you're going to be a little faster. Sometimes you're going to drop the speed, drop your voice, pick up your voice, different things like that. And you have to understand how to do that with confidence, because that's what's going to give you the confidence for this guy or this person, this woman, to pay attention to you. Once you establish that, the customer is still not convinced that you are the expert and you're in control. A lot of these people come very, very strong at you, and they're going to tell you, you know what? Why don't we just skip the pitch? And they're going to tell you, they're going to say it like that. Why don't we just skip the pitch and focus on what's really important here? Why don't you give me all the technical information? Now, here, you're going to double up on your confidence, right? You have to know how to play the game. For this, you must have you must have practiced, and the reason why you became a closer is because you're a confident person. You don't become a closer if you're not a confident person, even if you still in the sales approach. Okay, because we're going to turn you into the approach of persuading and consulting, right? With these people. So the way you're going to diffuse that is going to tell them, listen, I understand. I understand that you want to get into the nitty gritty, but I want you to understand one thing. We are very responsible in how we approach the end result of this conversation. It might work for you, it might not work for you, but my job here is to align your needs to what to the right product or services. Only at the end we can establish that. But I need you to please work with me, because after all, you submitted voluntarily, you submitted your information to us, and this is how we conduct business. If you're talking to a business owner, he'll understand, because you'll ask him, you're a business owner yourself, right? Let me ask you this question. Do you just let customers berate you and tell you what to do in your business when you have certain stipulations that have to be fulfilled to be able to do business with whoever? And they're probably going to understand who you are. If they don't have any business, just tell them this is how we conduct business, right? We need to take you. I just want you to be patient with me, answer the questions. And if you have the time, like you're separated for this appointment, or if you don't have the time, I can give you a call back, and then we can talk at a time when you're going to be more available, and you can go through a process for me to help you the right way. This might work for you, this might work for us, or it might not. We just don't know. So would you be willing to answer the questions I have? You diffuse the person, deflate their ego, right? At that point. Now, there's going to be a lot more with certain customers that you have to keep doing down the line, because a lot of them, they'll just give you the pass just to see what you got. And if they still impatient, they're going to bring that up again. If they bring it one more time and you explain this one more time, because I'm going to tell you these guys, honestly. And for anybody who's very experienced in sales, they can agree with me. A person who is obsessed with technical information and they don't want you, or they're not allowing you to continue through your process, most likely is not going to buy, right? You also have to understand the level of sophistication that they have. If for instance, I'm selling real estate investing course, right? And I'm talking to a very sophisticated, experienced investor, I will automatically know that I cannot treat this person like a 9-to-5er, right? A 9-to-5er is a novice in the world of business. A person with experience, right? A person with experience in business will be a lot more willing to play your game as long as you're not wasting their time. So you got to be a lot more efficacious in the way that you take them through the process. So you've got to display the confidence that you need. Right? Okay. So let's move on to the next section. The next section is how to set yourself apart from a sales pitch to become the expert. First of all, when you call, if you're the closer, we're assuming that you would have had a setter, closer. I've said this many times. If you're like myself, I love to intro close. What is intro closing? Is when I set myself for the close, right? I made the first contact. There's no setter involved. I'm the setter and the closer. And I know we'll talk on another live how to set yourself apart from being the setter to being the closer without pretending to be two different people, right? Because you're not going to do that. That'd be silly, right? So if you're contacting these people, never, ever, ever, guys, never call these people. Don't ever say Mr. Jones. Don't ever say Mrs. Whatever. Address these people by their first name. Don't be afraid. If you do it with confidence, they'll know that they're talking to someone you want to be an equal. In order for you, and this is the difference between a salesman and a closer, it's a salesman, it's always going to feel, it will always feel like he's a little bit less, especially if he's talking to an attorney, to a doctor, to a surgeon, they're going to feel like they're a little bit at a disadvantage because they're not, especially if they don't have a college degree or they're not making $200,000 or $300,000. Because let's face it, when you start being a closer, you're not going to be averaging right off the bat $300,000. That with time, maybe down the line, 1-2 months after you start being a closer, you start averaging that money. But in the beginning, you're gonna struggle a little bit, and that's fine. So right there. If you're talking to someone impressive with a big personality, don't be afraid, right? Call them by the first name. If it's the first time you contact them because you don't have a setter in between, just when they pick up the phone, don't even ask if they're there. Don't say, is Michael there? Is this Mike? Just say, hey, Mike. Hey, Mike, right? And they'll take it from there, right? If you start asking for people at home, hi, is Mike there? Especially if they have not set up an appointment, they're going to think you're a telemarketer, and they're probably going to play games, if not hang up the phone right away, because their perception is like a telemarketer, somebody I don't know, I don't recognize his voice, so I'm not going to stick around to find out what they're going to sell me. So you got to be quick. Mike, hey, yeah, who's this? Mike, this is Jaden. I'm giving you a call back from ABC, whatever, and you take that to the next level, right? Now, from the bat, hold on. Right from the bat, you are going to tell these people, you're going to start asking questions, right? You are going to be a detective at this point because you're going to ask them questions. If it's the first time you're talking to these people, are you married? What do you do for a living? Make it seem like you're doing small talk. Don't make it seem like it's a questionnaire, right? Don't make it seem like it's scripted. In fact, nothing should be felt like it's scripted, right? So you're going to tell them, hey, great. So what do you do for a living? What brought you to us? How did you get to contact us? All right, let me explain the process that we take people through, and we'll see if this is something that you'll be okay with. All right, so here we go. And then, guys, please pay attention to your speed, your tonality, the pitch of your voice, your punchlines, especially when you're reading scripts, okay? If you're a closer, you should have a script only if it makes you feel comfortable, but a closer should be able to navigate without a script. You do not want to be scripted when you're a closer. You want to have genuine conversations with these people. All right. It's just it's a better way to establish yourself. Okay. All right. Hope that helps. Okay, guys. How to get a short answer prospect to get involved in the conversation. A lot of these prospects, they know. See, people are defensive, and to a certain degree, you can't blame them for that, right? Especially nowadays, everything is weird. People are not. They don't know if they're talking to an AI. They don't know if they're talking to a real person. They don't know if this is, so many companies online. They want to make sure that they don't just put their guards down and just let you come in and, damage something and break something, right? Or make him, hurt. So a lot of people, some people display the short answer personality because that's how they are. That's their personality. Other people are heavily guarded, and other people are just full of ego, full of themselves. So you have to understand which of these three categories you're talking to. If you're talking to someone who's heavily guarded and you're going to use the same method for all three because you don't know in the beginning who's who, so you're going to use the category, you're going to assume that this person is just being guarded. I need to disarm him or her, right? So the first thing, you're going to take some time. You're going to get to notice if it's a pattern, right? Don't do it before you know it's a pattern of then just answering short, right? You'll know that this person is probably not too loquacious, so I'm going to have to probably struggle a little bit here. And if they just give you 3 or 4 answers like no, yes, I don't know, after those 4 questions, now it's a pattern. Now you are going to wait 3 more questions where they answer like that and make it a purpose to ask them a question where they have to speak and see how they behave. If you feel that they're being forced to speak and they just limit their conversative answer to something nonsensical, but enough for them to think they can get away with it, stop right there. Let him listen. I'm sorry, John. I've been spending. We've already been on the phone for about 15 minutes. I just want to make sure that you are involved in this conversation because for the past 15 minutes that I've been asking you questions, you're very evasive with the answers, and it doesn't sound or feel like we're having a comfortable conversation. I want to make sure that you don't have anything against me personally, first of all, or against the company. Is there something that's bothering you? Why don't we talk about it, right? If it's a person who's being guarded, that person is going to come out, and that person is going to tell you, you know what? There's so many scams out there, and you just don't understand who's who. Once, because that's probably the first thing they're going to tell you about this scam. Once they address the scam, ask them, how many times have you been scammed? 1 or 2 answers they're going to give you. The first answer or the first thing that someone like that should answer because of their skepticism is, yes, I've been scammed before. Ask them, and do you think that's bad? They're going to say, of course, I lost $10,000, $5,000, whatever. Well, what if I told you that that's actually a good sign? Now they're going to be surprised. Now remember, guys, empathy is this is what a salesperson would do. A salesperson would say, "Oh man, I know how you feel. That's terrible. Who? How did you get scammed?" Guys, chances are that if this person has been talking to more than one company, everyone is answering like that. But you're going to take a different approach, the approach of a closer. And here, what you're going to do is you're going to say, so you think that's good or bad? Well, of course that's bad. I lost $10,000. What if I told you that that's good? Or not good, but it's not as negative as you think. What do you mean? Well, The law of average says that for you to become successful, you have to lose something in the process. The law of average already gave you your loss. So guess what? The way you're going to balance that out is by executing, keep moving forward. If you stop right here, the law of average for you will be incomplete. But right now, I feel very comfortable that from this point on, you're about to make it big, to break into a big deal. That's because I'm not trying to be positive with that. I'm just trying to be logical. It would be absurd if you get scammed again. I mean, that would not be the law of average. That would be probably your fault, right? And we're going to make sure that you can have enough information so that you can corroborate that we are ethical people. And I hope you're working for an ethical company because that's the way. There's a lot of power in that if you're just taking people's money. Okay, so that's for someone who's guarded. If it's the personality of the individual, right? You ask them the same question, and they're just going to say, "I'm sorry, man. This is the way I am. I'm typically very, very reserved." Okay, not a problem. Do not attack that person. Do not confront that person. We just confronted the person who's heavily guarded, but the person with a personality like that, we're just gonna start. See, what happens with people like that is not that they always have that kind of behavior. It's just they don't know you, and a little bit, of trusting issues. Those people typically are very reserved with people they don't trust, they don't know, right? So give them a reason for them to trust you. And trust me, once you start taking them into the right place and be a little bit gentle with them, but don't lose your posture. You don't have to lose posture just because you're being gentle. And they'll cut loose little by little. By the end, I've had people that are so timid in the way they sound and they confess in the beginning. By the end, I can't make them to shut up. I can't get them to shut up. So if it's arrogance, oh, you'll know. All right. And at that point, you let them know, okay, so because someone who's arrogant, they'll keep the short answers for a little bit and then they're going to explode. They're going to start, giving you a little bit of crap. And at that point, you're going to make an assessment if it's worth to continue working with that person or just let them go. And here's the reason, or her go. And here's the reason why. In the rare situation, and you can turn arrogant people around and they become very humble. But in the rare situation that you turn one of those arrogant people that would never change, doesn't matter what you do for them, that you sign them up, they're going to be a nightmare for the fulfillment team. Trust me. So I don't know if it's worth it. All right. I've disqualified a lot of people. Listen, I just want to make sure we're not here to make enemies. We're not here to create a fight. And it sounds like, you're a little bit upset. Maybe it's not a good day, or maybe you want to come back at another time. Our doors are open. Make sure you never leave a bitter taste in their mouth, right? You want to make sure that you always stay cordial, that you always stay on their side, right? Perfect. All right. Last but not least is how to set the deal to close at the end of the call. This is not something you do at the end without having done what you need to do in the beginning of the call or throughout the call, and expect, if you haven't done the right thing throughout the entire call, that you're going to do something magical to turn and flip that person to buy your product. Doesn't work that way. In order for you to collect $20,000, $10,000, even $5,000 from someone at the end of the call, every single step that you have to take has to be surgically done. And you have to start from the beginning. One of the things that I do right in the middle, right when I'm about to tell him how much it is and go, I tell him how much it is, the investment. I don't tell him in the beginning. I don't tell him all the way at the end. I do it in the middle of the call just to make sure I get them to agree before they learn what the technical information is. And once I get them to agree, Then I give them the information. But before that step, what I do is I talk about procrastination, but I'm not going to tell them what procrastination is. I want them I want them to give me all their perception, every single bit of perception they have on procrastination. Believe me, they are going to tell you right there that nothing important should be left for another day. They've done it before. They're guilty of it. They agree that people die of procrastination. They know that people are poor because they procrastinate, especially living in a country like the United States, which is full of opportunities for people to get out of poverty. All right, you don't find that the way you find it in the United States anywhere else, not even Canada, especially now with some of the stipulations the government's putting on people in Canada. The United States still full of great resources. I don't care what the news says. I don't care what the economy looks like. Recessions, guys, the best place to make money is recessions. And when you talk about recessions with people and you mix it with procrastination, it's a great recipe for them to know that they have to invest today, not tomorrow. All right. And when we talk about objections, we're going to talk about how to slip around the whole, let me think about it tomorrow, I'll let you know, and get them to close. Some people, and you will develop enough of a psychological sense to understand that some people do need that extra day. Some people I know sometimes that I close people, they're closed, but they need that extra day. I know they're closed. And then obviously, all right, I got to be careful with that because I never say somebody's closed unless I have the credit card in my hand and I'm processing and it passes. Even if I have the credit card in my hand, they're not closed. But what I'm trying to say is I have a thermometer because of the years of experience, and I think it doesn't really take a lot of years to understand this. When you know when someone really is, they just need to finesse it in their mind, and you'll be able to close it. Sometimes you get surprised and they don't close and they don't answer your call. That's just part of the business. If you're not ready for rejection, you shouldn't be in this business. All right. Perfect. All right, guys. I hope this helps. If you have questions, go to school and make sure you ask those questions. Open up the conversation, guys. I'm not going to make the comment. I'm not opening up the conversation because you guys are the ones who need help, and I am the teacher. All right, so we're going to say Rose is here, Pantera is here, Venture to Excel is here, Yo is here. Thank you so much, guys, for coming and taking notes. Take notes. Do the best you can to, somehow get this. I am going see if you guys get to invite people to the lives. What I'm going to do is I am going to give you a script for no reason. I'll give you a script. I'll post it on school. You have to sign up. I'll post it there. And if you bring a friend, you guys will have a script because you guys need a script. And then we have something tangible that we can practice. But I need to see people here in the lives every Tuesday. So again, my name is Jader Salazar, the founder of Black Label Closers. You can go to www.blacklabel-closers.com. Go to the website. Once you sign up for the school at school.com, SKOOL.com, you can take advantage of the free course, which is great value there. Trust me, I'm not pretending. It's good value in there. And also, if you want to be more aggressive, you can purchase a $97 program, which is valued at $1,000. I always do that, $1,000. But I understand you guys need a little bit of help. So here we go, $97. And if you want to be really aggressive and you really want to play this game and you're going to put your mouth with your, what is it? I just forgot. You're going to put your money where your mouth is. Then you can become my partner. All right. the partnership program, and we're going to split 50% of the profits, 50% for you, 50% for me. Come talk to me about it. And yeah, I need to make sure that we can work together. Right? That's not a pitch. That's that's true. Right? So every Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can come here to YouTube, Black Label Closers, and come to this event, and you can drop questions on school. I mean, I don't know what else to say, guys. I'm trying to help as much as I can. 98 million jobs will be taken off the market within the next 3 years. Just about most people will be out of a job. Sad but true. And I'm not just talking about truck drivers. I'm talking about even surgeons, pilots. We had this conversation on Tuesday. So be proactive and preemptive, guys. Don't wait until you lose your job. Manage this. Handle this. This is a $50 billion a year industry. In 3 years, it's going to be $250 billion. So we are going to have a party, and we're going to make money. Those that take advantage of these quick. All right, guys. See you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. And bring me some friends. I want to see you here with your friends hanging out. All right? Take care. See you later.